All right, I think we are live. It should be coming up on the next screen, right over here. Just have to reset the thing. My voice may be coming through the microphone. Well, I'm not my voice, but the stream may be coming through my microphone. So, live. We're live, baby. Just want to see my. You know what? If anyone's in the chat, just think worry about the chat. Anyway, welcome to episode 3 of Let's Talk. So, I guess you guys can hear me, or not. I'm not sure, though. You know what? I think my headphones are in here somewhere. Anyway, if this is muted, I'll just start over and do it again. But this is episode 3 of Let's Talk. And I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things. First off, I want to talk about the whole issue with Ashley Judd and the Twitter trolls. You Twitter trolls that are doing this to Ashley Judd are getting what you deserve. You trolls that... I did not read your comments, but I've been hearing what Ashley Judd has been saying about you guys. And Twitter trolls out there, you guys that are bothering Ashley Judd is laying the hammer down. She ain't pulling any punches with you trolls. And Ashley Judd, if you're watching this, I am a 100% supporter of you. Go after them. Teach them who's boss. And I tweeted out on Twitter, I tweeted this on Twitter. I said, all you internet trolls need to leave, all you Twitter trolls need to leave Ashley Judd alone. If you want to pick on anybody, pick on me. Pick on me. Then I added the hashtag. Then I added the hashtag enough is enough. And it is. Enough is enough. All you Twitter trolls out there who are just doing this to elicit a response from someone, it's enough. You guys are going so far. And my God, you guys, you Twitter trolls that saying those things, those are criminal acts. Those are threatening bodily harm. That's a crime, you know. Just because you don't like Ashley Judd's opinion doesn't mean you have to go say something like that. My goodness. You guys are crazy. And you guys have just opened the floodgates. You have. You have pissed off the wrong person. Excuse my language, but that's just how I feel. You Twitter trolls are nothing more than trolls. I left a comment on Star Wars on some fan edit of the prequels about how the prequels were good. That Jar Jar Binks was only there to be the catalyst, to bring the Gungan army and the people of Naboo together. That's all that Jar Jar Binks was there for. In episode 1, in the Phantom Menace, Jar Jar Binks isn't there just to be there. He's there for a reason. Jar Jar Binks is there because he's the first person to get kicked out of his home. He got banished from his home. And it's because of that. If he hadn't have gotten banished from his home, if Boss Nass hadn't have banished him, he never would have met the Jedi. He never would have met Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. He never would have met Queen Amidala, and Queen Amidala would never have asked Jar Jar Binks for help. It's because that you think that Jar Jar Binks doesn't belong in Star Wars, but he does. Jar Jar Binks is a hero. Jar Jar Binks saved Queen Amidala and her people from sure destruction. He did. He's a hero. He's there to help. He's in the prequels, he's mainly in Episode 1 as the one thing that ties Naboo and the Gungan people together. He's that tying bind that brings these two warring factions at peace. The Gungans never liked the people of Naboo because they think they're, well, you guys have seen the prequels, but it's because of Jar Jar Binks that the Gungans and the people of Naboo were able to bring peace. And for those of you out there that think Jar Jar Binks is just a waste of space, is just a waste of film, he's not. Jar Jar Binks is the reason that Queen Amidala survived. He's the reason that the Trade Federation was defeated. At least in Episode 1. If it wasn't for Jar Jar Binks, no one would have. The Gungan, the Trade Federation would have just taken over. They would have kept control of Theed. So all of you out there that have been commenting on that comment that I made on that Star Wars fan edit, screw you. For those of you that think my comment is just a waste of space, screw you. But there are a couple of people that did comment on that did say that they supported that. They supported that because there are people that commented that saw that the comments I made were actually factual. And I do like the prequels. I never saw the original Star Wars in the theaters back in the 70s because I wasn't alive in the 70s. I was born in 1989, so I never had the advantage. I never got to see the original trilogy in the theaters. But you guys may like this. You guys may like my opinion. You guys may hate it. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we all have our own tastes. And in my opinion, the only reason why most people did not like the prequels is because they had their own thoughts. They had their own preconceived thoughts and preconceived ideas of how things were gonna happen. And that's why in some people's eyes the prequels sucked, because it didn't live up to their vision. But guess what, folks? It's not your vision. It's George Lucas's vision. If it wasn't for George Lucas, Star Wars wouldn't be around. It's not your vision. It's George's vision. Episode 7, 8, 9, written by George Lucas. George Lucas wrote the story. This is George Lucas's vision. For those of you that don't want to believe that George Lucas has a hand in Episode 7, he does. He has a big hand in it. George Lucas is the reason Star Wars is here. We are not responsible for bringing Star Wars. George Lucas is. If George Lucas wants to take his creation and fiddle around with it and expand it and put new scenes in, that's his choice, not ours. We do not tell George Lucas what to do. If George Lucas wants to, like he did in 97, when he re-released Star Wars in the theaters and added all those new scenes, he did so because of the technology. The technology that he was able to use then was better than they were in 77. And that's his whole reason for adding these new scenes, adding all these new characters, and redoing some scenes from the original release of Star Wars. Is because the technology was better. That's why that's why the Mos Eisley, that's why the extended scene of Mos Eisley is there. That's why the extended scene of Cloud City is there. That's why we get to see more of Mos Eisley and Cloud City. Is because of the technology. The technology got better in 97, and when he re-released it in 2004 and added more new scenes, the technology from 97 wasn't good enough. But in 2004, when he re-released it on Blu-ray, on DVD, it got better. The technology is getting better. That's why on the Blu-ray when George released the complete all 6 movies on Blu-ray, and when we watch and when you go and watch episodes 4, 5, and 6 on Blu-ray, when we see the new Jabba the Hutt, all these new scenes that weren't in the '97 release, is because the technology got better. That's why. Technology is better. And all of you out there that think George Lucas is just doing this just to piss us off, he's not. It's his vision. The things he wanted to do back in '77, he wasn't able to do because of technology. The technology back in 1977 was not all that great. But with the advent of CGI, when CGI came around, he said, "Bingo, there we go. I can do a lot more. I can take my original vision and put it on screen." He wanted to do a lot more with Star Wars. He wanted to do a lot more with the original trilogy. A lot more. But he wasn't able to. Like I said, because of technology. The technology of that time was just not all that great. And for all of you that are bashing George Lucas, mainly the people who put out that documentary, The People versus George Lucas, you guys are tasteless. You guys are hating on George Lucas for expanding on his creation. You didn't create Star Wars. All you out there that are bashing George Lucas because he tainted the original trilogy because of it's not your decision. It's not your decision on whether George Lucas should or should not mess with the original release. It's George's vision. George owns it. Well, did own it, but he was pretty smart. And guys, he only did the whole trilogy thing to keep Star Wars in his control, and he said that. That's what he did. He did not want to make 3 movies. He just wanted to make 1 movie, but he knew the only way that he could keep everything the only way that he could keep Star Wars in his control and not have the studios come in and interfere was to make it a trilogy. So he never had any intention of creating a trilogy. It was just going to be 1 movie, and that was it. 1 movie. But he had to do a trilogy because he had no choice to. He had no choice but to do a trilogy because that was the only way he could keep Star Wars in his control without having any outside interference. Because that's why he does things. That's why he never had any other directors come in during the prequels, because he did not like any outside interference. He did have Steven Spielberg. He had Steven Spielberg there doing the pre-production. He had Steven Spielberg. Even though Steven Spielberg went uncredited, he still had Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg was a co-director. He did all the previs, but the fault of the prequels does not lie on George's shoulders. It lies on this. The storyline's great. Acting could have been better, but there are a couple of computer generated characters that could have been done better. Mainly, if you watch Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones, more specifically, if you watch the documentary From Puppets to Pixels, you'll get a big idea as just how bad some of these CGI people were. The people working on Yoda were not people that were experienced at doing a full-length feature film. These were people that were experienced at doing like a 2-minute commercial. They weren't used to being on something that went for a whole year. And even Rick McCallum said that. If you watch the documentary From Puppets to Pixels, the making of Episode 2: Attack of the Clones, Rick McCallum will even admit that the guys working on the CGI weren't very experienced guys at all. They weren't. I think almost everybody who was doing the CGI, the computer generated image, the CG stuff, weren't experienced. They were basically unknowns at the time. They were indie guys. They were fresh out of college, I think. But you don't fault George Lucas. George Lucas did put his foot down. He did make an example out of the guy that really. That there is one scene in Attack of the Clones where Yoda says that the shadow of the dark side has fallen, begun the Clone War has. And the facial expression that you see in the movie, there was about at least 20 or 25 different versions of that. The version we see in the movie where Yoda says, "The shroud of the dark side has fallen, begun the Clone War has." That's probably the 26th version of it. It took 26 different times to get the facial expressions in the ears pointed just right. George Lucas is very finicky, a very finicky and very picky director. And for all of you guys to come out and bash George Lucas about the prequels, and yes, I'm talking to you, John Campea. You, John Campea, are the biggest one of all. You guys, John, never went in with a blank slate. You didn't. But now you're saying that you're going to go into Episode 7 with a blank slate. But you guys are already speculating as to what all these characters could be. You've already got your own ideas as to what should happen in Episode 7, and don't do that. Do not do that. Do not go into Star Wars Episode 7 with preconceived ideas and preconceived notions of what things should be. Don't get any ideas. Don't think, oh, this character should be there. This character should be there. Darth Plagueis should be there. Darth Revan. Don't do that. Go into it as if you've never seen it before. Go into Episode 7 as if you have never seen Star Wars before, as if you do not know about the characters from the books, the comic from the books, from the video games, anything. Act as if you've never seen Star Wars before. Do that. If you do that, if you go into Episode 7 as if you've never seen Star Wars before in your life, your expectations will not be shattered. Do not go into Episode 7 with preconceived ideas in your head. Do not do that. I'm talking to you, John Campea. You're one of those people that have bashed George Lucas about those prequels, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all of you out there bashing George Lucas. It's because of all of you that George Lucas decided to give up. That's why he sold Lucasfilm to Disney. It's because of you. He didn't do it because he needed the money. He didn't need the money. George Lucas didn't need the money. He owns LucasArts, Lucasfilm, Skywalker Sound. He didn't need money. But he got rid of Star Wars. The reason why he sold Star Wars to Disney was because of all of you people out there that bashed him about it. You hurt his feelings about that. That's why he washed his hands of Star Wars. That's why he said enough is enough. I do not want to have anything more to do with Star Wars. If they want to bash me about it, I'm done. He did. He said I'm done. I'm done. I'm through messing with Star Wars. If you guys want to bash me and you want to make fun of me and you want to say all these hurtful things about me, I'm done. I quit. And that's basically what George did. He sold Lucasfilm. He sold the Star Wars franchise off to Disney because he quit. He said, I quit. If you guys want me gone, if you guys want me to stay away from Star Wars, fine, I'll do that. I'll stay away. I'm gone. You'll never see me direct another movie like that again. And he didn't. He's quit directing. He's more a producer now. He's quit writing movies. He's quit directing movies. There is that one animated movie that's coming out that he's just a producer on. So he's out of the. He's no longer going to direct anything. And if you guys send any questions to AMC Movie Talk, I can guarantee you, George Lucas will not be directing anything anymore. George Lucas has retired. He's not retiring because of his age, because of his health. He's retiring because of all of you people out there that basically lambasted him, that said he should. All those hurtful things you said about George Lucas made him quit. He quit. Despite what anyone else says, George Lucas quit. George Lucas threw his hands up in the air and said, I give up. I quit. If they want to bash me if they want to say all these hurtful things about me, I'm done. And I think that's probably the biggest mistake that he made. He should not have given in. He should not have quit. George Lucas, if you're watching this, you should not have quit. I'm a very big supporter of you, George. Whatever you. I knew that you did not need the money. I knew as soon as you sold off your beloved franchise, your creation. I knew when you did that. I knew exactly, George, when you did that. When you sold Lucasfilm to Disney. I knew that you just threw your hands up in the air and said, I give up. I wash my hands of Star Wars. I'll have nothing to do with it anymore. That's basically what you. That's what I. On behalf of George, I want to apologize to you, George, on behalf of all of us who love the prequels. The opinions, the things that you heard from all of us, I want to personally apologize to you, George, for hurting your feelings. I do. I'm just as... And John Campy, you need to apologize to George too, because your opinions about George Lucas and the prequels are unwarranted. You don't like the prequels because your ideas weren't in it. You didn't. I'm sorry to bash you like this, John Campy, but I've just had enough. I've had enough. I have heard enough. I'm tired of people bashing George Lucas about the prequels, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing it. And John Campy, if you're watching this, shame on you. Shame on you for bashing George like that. It's because of the comments that you gave about the prequels. That's exactly why George Lucas got rid of Star Wars to begin with. That's why he got rid of it. My opinion. Well, now to the next topic. I know I started by talking about Ashley Judd, but all those guys on Twitter that bashed Ashley Judd like that and threatened sexual violence against her, all you guys that did that are getting your just desserts. I hope that you get sent to prison, and you can't. You guys broke the law. You guys threatened bodily harm against her. She can press charges against you. Ashley Judd can and will press charges against you. She will file criminal charges against you for making terroristic threats. Now, let's get on to the next topic, which is my book, which is The Dragon Slayers. It's going to take a long time for that book to be done. A good decade. It might take 10 years. It might take 20 years. I'm slowly writing it, and at the moment, I'm kind of at an impasse creatively. I've got writer's block, and this writer's block may last for quite a while, because I'm stuck at a point in my book where I can't think of which direction I should take my characters in. I know the end result. I know where I have to get. I'm just stuck. But if you go to my Facebook page, if you go to my Facebook page, I'll probably leave the. I'll give you the links later on. Right now, doing this whole live stream thing, I'm not going to give you the links right now. But if you're watching this later, if you guys are watching this later, for those of you that are watching this live, you won't get any links to anything right now. But those of you that are watching after the fact, there will be some links in the description down below where it will take you to my Facebook page where I uploaded my book. And you guys can read it for yourself, and then you can leave a comment saying whether you liked it or not. But that's going to take a while. And the other thing that's going to take a while is Let's Plays. I may not do any more Let's Plays until I can get the right equipment, more specifically a external hard drive. And also, I will not do any Let's Plays without the permission of those game companies. What I will do from now on, if I'm going to do any Let's Plays, I'm going to contact the makers of those games, the copyright. I will contact the copyright owners of those games, and I will ask them if I have their permission to play that game on my YouTube channel. And if I get their permission, then I will do it. And I'll be sure to include their permission in the videos, because I don't want any copyright strikes against my channel. Because I really want I really want to cooperate. I really want to do things with these video game companies like EA. I'm a big supporter of EA. But although I didn't really like SimCity all that much. Electronic Arts, you guys could have done better. You guys just got into a big hurry, and you released it as quick as you could. But when you do the next time you guys do a SimCity game, be sure to have patience. Patience is a virtue. So the next time you guys do a SimCity game, don't be in such a rush to release it out. Don't be in a rush to. Take your time. Make sure you've got all those bugs fixed. Don't just release it without doing any bug fixes, because I can guarantee that's what happened. When you guys released it, you did not do any bug fixes. You did not do any. I could tell that you guys did not do any test plays. That all your testers did not do a thorough job of finding those bugs. In fact, I don't think you guys did any bug finding at all. You just released it out there in the open, and we the people who purchased it were the ones that found all those bugs. And having SimCity always online was a bad idea. It was just a bad idea. You guys could have implemented the online portion later on. You could have released SimCity first without being online. The multiplayer aspect of SimCity is a good idea, but it could have been done right. You guys didn't do a good job of it. But I do want to get involved with these. But like I'm saying, I want to get involved with all the companies in which I'm doing Let's Plays of. I will do a Let's Play of The Sims, but that'll all depend on whether I get permission from Electronic Arts to do that. Any Let's Play that I do on my channel will depend on whether I get the permission from that company, from that company or not. There are a lot of games that I have, that I've bought, that I want to do a Let's Play of, but I want to get the written permission from those companies first. I really want to be involved with those companies because I really enjoy playing games. But the only way I'll do Let's Plays of them is if I get their permission first. Because I can't afford to have any copyright strikes against me. That's why I'm just doing all these. That's why I started doing Let's Talk. I did do one part of The Sims 2, but I deleted it because I had to stop playing. I just stopped playing. It's not because I got a copyright strike against me. It's because I didn't have enough space in my computer. But with these live streams, with these live streams with Google, with the Google Hangouts, with the Google Plus Hangouts, I don't have to have any space at all on my computer. It just goes right directly to YouTube without even having to save to my computer, and I love that. So that's about maybe 3 topics I've gotten into. And the fourth and final topic I'm going to talk about, well, I've already talked about, let's see, I've talked about the Twitter, I've talked about the Ashley Judd the Twitter lawsuit. I've talked about the lawsuit that Ashley Judd put up against all those Twitter trolls. I've talked about Star Wars. I've talked about my book. I've talked about about 4 topics, and I guess I'll just leave it to you guys. Okay. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this episode of Let's Talk. I hope you guys can join me next time. And be sure to Be sure to go to AMC Movie Talk whenever they're just be sure to go to AMC Movie Talk and watch AMC Movie Talk. I think the new episode of AMC Heroes is released right now. So I'm Buckley 405, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.